Hi, it's me, Chio. Welcome. So it has been a while since I was on YouTube, and that's because life, really, and just life. I have been busy dealing with like my own personal things. Some of you know that I published a book, so I have been focused on that, focused on more things related to that, and also dealing with the stress of it and dealing with the stress of just everything happening around us. But I am back to be consistent. Hopefully I'll be consistent. Don't judge me if I'm not. Let's just see how things go. But I do plan on posting at least once a week. So hopefully I'll have great content for you soon. For those who don't know, this channel focuses on teaching writers, book reviews, book to movie reviews, just anything to do with the writing and reading community really. So I decided to start this video with a review. I read a book recently. It's titled Not Just Another Interlude, written by Lara T. Karim, and it is a romance novel. Yay! Okay, I am not a typically I just read fantasy. I do explore other genres, but typically I just read fantasy. But if you watch my recent book to movie videos, you see I've read a lot of romance recently, and they were something. But this one had like, it gave me a different experience from those ones. It's light-hearted, easy to get through, and it was just what I needed because I have been really stressed. So I needed something to bring me down from the stress, just mellow me out so I can actually think well. And this book did just that. To be honest, I was reluctant reading this book in the first place because I've read a good number of Nigerian romance books growing up. The last one I read was probably 8, 9, 10 years, that time frame ago. And I had such bad experiences reading them because they were toxic, like really toxic. The endings didn't make any sense to me. The lifestyles didn't make any sense to me. And I just figured, you know what, maybe this kind of writing isn't for me. So I just put a pin on that and left it. I know it's not only Nigerians that write like toxic romance. It's all over in Western culture. It's all over in multiple places. And I don't really get it. I mean, I can see the appeal of happening to somebody else, but the fantasizing about happening to us, I guess at some points when I was younger, I might have been in those shoes, but now it's just no, no toxic romance, no problematic anything around me, please. So back to Not Just Another Interlude. I almost didn't read it for this reason, but I have seen posts this writer put up, things she does in the book community, her standpoint on some topics. So I was hopeful, and thank God I read it because she didn't disappoint. It turned out to be the kind of story I wanted to read. It wasn't toxic, it wasn't too much drama, it just someone's growth in romance. So this book is not just about another interlude. Okay, that wasn't that funny. Oh my god. Okay. This book is not just about romance, it's about friendship, family, overcoming hardships, trust, loyalty. It's just showing us in the cleanest way what a healthy relationship with anybody in your life looks like, whether romantic or otherwise. And it was refreshing, especially I think I was most refreshed by seeing the bond in the friendship than anything else, but we'll get to that. Now I am going to avoid spoilers, so you are not going to really hear much about the book. Sorry, I don't want to spoil this book because I want you to really experience it the same way I experienced it, or as the way you can experience it without already knowing everything that's going to happen in the book. So I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But anyways, I'll give the bare minimum I can, I guess. The main character, her name is Sewa, and this book starts off with Sewa failing at love, which is how most romance stories start, or most good romance stories start, because you have to fail sometimes to get to learn and grow and get to the good stuff, get to the juicy stuff. But Sarah, but what was intriguing is how she fails at love. I don't want to spoil the scenario, but basically, she she's caught up in her own feelings, that she projects these feelings onto the other person and doesn't actually see the how this person reacts to her. And that's what a lot of people do. You get so caught up in your feelings and you don't realize that other person doesn't feel the same way. So when you're thinking, oh yeah, we're going to work, oh yes this, oh yes that, the other person is not even on the same page as you are at all. And most of the time when this happens, somewhere in you, you know that this relationship is not going to work because you're getting mixed signals. And once you're getting mixed signals, it means it's no go. There is no relationship waiting for you at the end of that tunnel. But Sarah doesn't see this, and then she learns the lesson a lot of young ladies have to learn, that you cannot force love. And some people can just be rude and jerks. So yeah, she learned that lesson. But anyways, she picks herself back up. She doesn't wallow in self-pity and sadness and all that, which I commend her for, because a lot of times when people get disappointed that their romantic interest doesn't turn out well, like, you have every right to be sad and you have every right to process it. And there's no there's no generally wrong way of handling how you feel in that sense, but it is wise to focus on other things and just look at it for what it is, look at the situation for what it is, and move on. So that's what she does. She moves on. She sees the facts. Yes, this doesn't work. Yes, I'm sad. What am I going to do next? And she decides that what she's going to do next is better herself, which we should all be doing. So she betters herself, starts focusing on her career, and then she gets the job she wants. And it is in this process, well, not this wasn't the first instance, but it is through this process that she meets the leading male, Jide. She literally falls for Jide. So yeah, I would talk about that, the falling thing. It has been done so much in romance that it has become that cliche where the girl is just clumsy and it falls in front of the main guy and it's embarrassing, but that kind of sparks the interest, etc. Now, it's a cliche, and if something is a cliche, it's probably because a lot of people like it. But this storyline has been getting a lot of hate recently because it's like, how does someone trip on air? And while I know it's just a writing device most people just use to further the plot or give like a, oh, she's cute kind of vibe to the character, this is something that really happens, okay? Confession time. I trip on nothing a lot. And what's peculiar about doing this is that I'm sporty, or at least I grew up sporty. Right now, I'm a couch potato. I have realized my full dream of being a house cat. I love being indoors. I love not having to do anything. But yes, I grew up sporty. And even being fit, being agile, did not prevent me from tripping on air. So yes, this happens. There is a clots community out there and I stand for you. So do not hate on it and say it is unrealistic, because there are those of us who trip on nothing but air. Yes, moving on from that little admittance, she falls for Jide and we get to meet Jide from there. Jide is a handsome, well-off, yeah, I'm actually downplaying him a bit because, like, yeah, whatever, I'm downplaying him, but he's a well-to-do young man. I'm going to put it that way because I'm old and that's how I sound. Jide is a well-to-do young man. I appreciate him as he is, but my first impression of him was too much, and that's how I feel about stuff. I'm already very on point about a lot of things, that sometimes I need my exterior relationships to be kind of mellowed. So if I had met someone like that in real life, I would have run for the hills, because I would get scared that this guy has the potential to be a stalker or something. And I'm not all about that. I don't want to be in that situation. No more talking about more on that. No more talking about that. But yeah, I don't want to be in that situation. Luckily for Sawa, she gives him a chance. And luckily for Jide, he turns out to be not all words, and he actually does prove that he's a good person. So yeah, it wasn't like a psycho stalker scenario. That would have been another drama, which I'm reading that book now, and I kind of got that vibe too of another scenario. So just thinking about how badly that situation could have turned. Yeah, but luckily he's a good guy, and then they start their good, clean relationship that isn't built on any falseness. And because of the relationships handled so cleanly, meeting Sarah's friends and meeting Sarah's family and the other way around is just, it's a smooth transition. It's just a bunch of people that are fully developed, ready to move on to the next stage in their life, and it's working out. So that's basically what the story is, showing sensible, fully developed human beings ready for that process of a real relationship. And that's why I appreciate this book the most. So speaking of meeting Sarah's friends are the kind of friends everyone should want, because recent conversations I've had with people have just left me baffled, because people are very accepting of friends that actually are jealous, in competition with you, backstab, and like, oh yes, that's just how that person is. But no, that's not how that person should be. If they are your friend, a friend is supposed to be someone that is on the same page with you, has, if not the exact same, but similar principles with you, and there should be like a bond of trust, a bond of respect. So when I see people say that they have friends that go around backstabbing them and things like that, and like, you don't really have a friend. You should really cut that person off if that person is not willing to change. Like, you can be there to help your friend grow, yes, but if that person is constantly doing this shitty things, you should really cut that person off. That is not a friend. But Sarah's friends are healthy, like they have healthy relationships. They all have their own little things to deal with and improve on, but these are not enough things to like spoil a friendship. They're just like personal growth issues, but they are generally good friends to each other. There's no jealousy, like, oh, this guy is cute, why do you guys have this guy, oh, you're doing way better than me, kind of thing. There's nothing like that, and thank God for that. But yeah, we meet Sarah's friend, then we meet Sarah's mom, and Sarah's mom is like the sweetest lady, and there's this trust between the mother and daughter that a lot of people strive for, like a lot of kids want in their relationships with their parents. But you can't pick your family, sadly. But yes, parents should know how to create that loving and trusting bond with their children, so that they can tell you things, and in the process you can know what advice to give the kids, and they can just be like a healthy growth on both sides. So because of Sarah has this kind of mother, we can see why she is a fully functioning human being. But yeah, so yeah, that is basically the way the story goes. Yes, there is a big hiccup in the story that drives the plot more, but it is not enough for you to say, why would she come back to this person? So when people make mistakes, there is forgiveness and there is second chances, but know the kind of mistakes you should give second chances to. If someone murders someone beside you and they say it was a mistake, I don't think you would give that person a second chance. So just like, know the kind of boundaries you should set in a relationship, what characteristics of someone you should accept, what are just some characteristic flaws, like if someone doesn't use the toothpaste the right way or whatever, those are just things you could just overlook. But if there are really mistakes, like someone who doesn't listen, things like that, these can pose to be big problems, but these are things that can be overcome if there's communication, if you're willing to grow. But there are some things that you should not give second chances to, like cheating, abuse, a whole lot of other things. So this is basically how the story goes. And because of the story gave me what I wanted at that time when I wanted it, I rated the book 4 stars out of 5. Now, I almost gave the book 3.5 stars for different reasons. I will talk about it and also talk about it in the way of why I decided to still give it 4 stars. I'll start with this. When you read so much fantasy, a lot of fantasy books are made into series, trilogies, duologies, things like that. So there's a lot of character development and world building to give the story more meat. So when you read books like this, almost every other genre seems that like it lacks more character. Yes, you can get a glimpse of somebody, understand somebody through a few words, at least in a book. But because of I'm so into the world of fantasy, when I see other genres, it just generally feels rushed. I have to remind myself that I'm reading outside my preferred genre, so this is how the stories are usually written, and that way it makes it more enjoyable. So this mindset convinced was one of the things that convinced me to go ahead with my 4 star rating. Another problem I had were like there were mistakes in the book, like typos, things like that, but they were minimum enough for me to ignore it. And I was also aware that these kind of mistakes are not the writer's mistakes. Yes, the writer can make these mistakes when they're writing, but just think about the amount of work a writer goes to writing that book. You you look at it so much that the words all make sense to you even when they don't. So this is like the avenue for the editor to really go in and use a fine-tooth comb and just go through the book to make sure there are no errors. And I know editing is improving around the world. In Nigeria, people that publish for Nigeria, Africa, books like that. I'm 100% sure where this book was published. I don't think the publishing house or this imprint is in Nigeria. I think they focus on Nigerian, African love stories. I wish I could remember the name of the publishing, but it's not important. The point is, when editors get writers' work, please treat it with just as much care. I know people are trying. I know there's growth, but these are things that can upset readers, especially when the book is not that big. You don't expect to find that often, that frequent errors. But again, they were minimum, so I was able to forgive that and enjoy the book and still give it 4 stars. My next reason, which I kind of already touched about, is even if it's not my usual type of book, it does exactly what it says it will. It gives you a nice, clean, light-hearted romance story, and that is exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I asked for. So getting that was like, even if it's not my preferred stuff, I can't force it because that's what I was looking for. So if you like that kind of genre, I'd advise you to pick up this book. If you're looking for, even if that's not what you read and you're just looking for something easy to consume, I advise you to pick up this book because it's really a nice in-betweener to read. It really helps just put you in the right headspace. I'll just say it that way. Now, the last reason why I decided that this book did deserve the 4 stars is because it is a Nigerian romance story. And growing up here, my experience with Nigerian love stories, both books and movies, especially the movies, has been disappointing. And I know some directors and writers are making a huge change, so kudos to them, kudos to the effort, but there's still a lot of poorly written stories in the sense of the toxicity of the relationships. And while I was reading this book, I was watching, there's a Nigerian romance movie playing in the background, and the scene was talking about, first we see that the girl is in a bad friendship because this friend doesn't really care about her, doesn't really listen, doesn't do anything a friend should be doing. And it wasn't like it wasn't like the main girl found it to be a problem. She just took it in stride, like this what her friendship should be. And that kind of, when you see entertainment, like life feeds art, but art also feeds life. So when people consume this, they begin to think that this is okay, and it's not a healthy friendship. Another problem with this, oh my gosh, this movie was a lot, and it wasn't like specifically just this movie. Lots of movies I've seen like this, but another problem in this movie was that this girl liked this guy who was a player. So in order to trap him, she decided to fake a pregnancy. And in my mind, I'm just wondering why. Why would you want to fake a pregnancy for a guy who's still going to cheat on you? Why would you want to be stuck in a relationship with someone like that? Even if you guys do end up getting married, he's still going to be a player. And what happens when he finds out that the pregnancy was fake? Both of you have built your relationship on a foundation of lies, deceit, disgust, toxicity. So why pass this off as a healthy romance? Because this thing will end well. It will end with, oh, but they fell in love, so it's all okay. And it's not. It really is not okay. That is not real love. And even if there was love there, that is not enough to sustain a healthy, long-lasting relationship. And this was not the only movie I heard of during this period, because right before I watched this movie and right before I started reading the book, my sister told me about the end of another movie she had just seen, where the guy ditched his wife and left her a gross letter about how she's a man because she either can't or won't, but it really doesn't matter, how she didn't give birth for him. So now he's gone ahead to have artificial insemination, and he has a son, so he's exing from the relationship. And this was the happy ending for the movie, because the man got his son and ditched his wife. And it's like, no. No, first off, you should talk about having children before you get married. Let's just get that clear. You don't do that after you're already stuck in a relationship, because there are women who do not want to give birth, who cannot give birth, and the same with men. So if you know this is an important thing for you, make sure before you get married, your partner is on the same page with you. The second thing, now you're stuck in that and you're having this problem. It is rude, disgusting, disrespectful to insult a woman because she can't give birth or won't give birth. First, it is her choice. Second, it is not the function of a woman. A woman is a human being too. She's not just put on the earth to just give you children. She has other things she has to do with her life. She has other things going on. So for them to give this character a happy ending of he's not with this woman anymore, is like, first of all, it's his loss and her gain, because now she doesn't have to put up with this. But still, they are passing it off to be, he's the person that is lucky because he's not stuck in this poor relationship with this woman who is a man because she refuses to give birth. So rubbish. Honestly, it's really rubbish. So reading that book and hearing about this movie and seeing the contrast with the other movie I was, just put it in better perspective, the kind of fights new writers are fighting to make sure they put out good content, in both entertaining and healthy for our readers, our viewers. And I have to commend her, Lara, for this, for giving us a book that does just this. And I can actually just imagine the process she went through writing this book, because she must have been daydreaming of G-Day. I know people that read this book will. So basically, she must have actually seen this relationship to be good as she wrote it. And that is a nice experience to have when you're writing, when you write and believe what you're writing, and also it is actually a good thing you're writing. So yeah, that is why I said to go ahead and give this book a 4-star rating out of 5. The book is available as an ebook, but I found out that it's also available as a physical book, and there's a pre-order going on now. So I will leave links in the description below to give you the pre-order links and the ebook link if you're interested, and you should pick it up. It's affordable. Just have the book in your back pocket if you need something simple and nice, sweet to read. And that is it for my review of not just another interlude by Lara T. Karim. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the review video, I will be reading more books. I will probably make another one soon. And I should actually stop saying that I don't read romance as much, because I have realized that more and more I'm reading a lot of romance, and a lot of the fantasy I read has a lot of romance in it. So yeah, romance is a big part of what I read now. So that's it for my video. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I really want your subscription so that I can know I'm actually doing something useful for you guys. Leave a comment if you have any other books you think are similar to this one, or you enjoyed reading, or you found to be healthy or refreshing. I would love to get to them. I can't wait for this writer to release more books, because I know I'll be picking up more of her romance books if they maintain this kind of healthy style of writing. And follow me on all my social media. I post on Instagram often and stay updated on my writing journey and my reading journey on Instagram. And I have more announcements coming out soon. Thank you for watching. See you next time.